We are back, and I still haven't finished 3 houses. I'm trying to soak in everything as a first playthrough, but my goodness is that game packed with so much stuff. Back in Fire Emblem Heroes, the 3 houses hype continues with our newest Mythic Hero Summoning Event. This one lasts for about a week, and you can nab yourself some really good 5-star heroes. Now I know there may be some new players trying out Fae recently, so let's go over why this banner is so special. It consists of 12 featured characters, and the 5-star focus rate is starting at 8%. The non-focus 5-star rate is permanently set to 0%, which means if you get a 5-star unit from this banner, it's guaranteed to be one of these 12 heroes. It's a great time to try and get any new 5-star units, so newer players most of the time should be rolling on these. If you want a specific character, well, it's going to be a bit tougher, so just keep that in mind. These monthly summoning events also introduce one new mythic or legendary hero, and these units come with special effects when you put them on the same team as an ally with their corresponding blessed element. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then don't worry about it too much. This month's new mythic hero is Sothis from 3 houses. I won't be discussing any plot points, but Sothis basically is with Byleth from the start of the game, and you'll uncover her mystery throughout the game. In Heroes, Sothis is represented as a red infantry dragon. She is a dark mythic hero, and her bonus stat is resistance. We don't have her exact stats just yet, but from the looks of things, Sothis is probably going to be a speedy dragon. Honestly, I bet she'll resemble the Byleth stat line quite closely. Now for old skills, Sothis has attack and speed solo, a powerful ability giving her +6 attack and speed whenever she is not adjacent to an ally. She also has Wrath, so when she is below 75% HP, her specials get +10 extra damage, and at the start of a turn, she will get -1 cooldown to her special count. For a unique weapon, Sothis has Sublime Surge, a 16-white dragonstone that neutralizes all effective against dragons bonuses. So basically things like Falchion, the Naga Tomes, or even that darn Splashy Bucket will no longer deal extra damage. Very nice and similar to Garen, another red dragon. However, Sublime Surge also comes with Distant Counter, allowing Sothis to counterattack against ranged enemies. Combined with the adaptive damage effect against ranged units, Sothis will deal a lot of damage to any archers, daggers, or mages. This is a rather simple weapon, 2 good defensive abilities, and if Sothis is naturally fast, she will be annoying to take down. Next up, Sothis has what I believe will be her second unique ability, the Sirius special. It's a 2 cooldown special that boosts damage by 30% of Sothis' speed. It will also then heal her for 30% of the damage done. This is like a slightly weaker Regno Astro combined with Noontime, or similar to a mini Aether. Because it does more damage based on Sothis' speed, she will probably be pretty fast. Now, this is an interesting special because Sothis also has Wrath. Normally, regular Noontime is kind of lackluster since your unit must deal a lot of base damage to get a good heal off. Sirius adds its own extra damage, and then Wrath can add another +10 damage on top, so it can get her a lot more healing on such a short cooldown. To fully explore Sirius' potential, we must discuss Sothis' new C skill, Time's Pulse. Now right off the bat, you'll notice it has a 3 at the end of its name, and it does not have the whitish border around the skill icon to indicate it's a unique skill. If Time's Pulse is inheritable, then it means Sirius is a unique special. So at the start of a turn, if special cooldown count is at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1. Oh boy, so we do not know the restrictions for who can inherit this skill, but I bet it won't be for everyone. Basically, if your special has a cooldown of 4 and you start the turn without it being pre-charged in any way, then Time's Pulse gives you -1 cooldown. If you use a 4-turn special, but you start the turn with 3 cooldown, then Time's Pulse does nothing. In the case of Sothis, this is a nasty ability. To start off a battle, Sirius will go down to 1 cooldown. This means if Sothis tanks a hit, she charges Sirius up and potentially activates Wrath. Her counterattack then does extra damage and she heals off of it. If Sothis is really weak going into the next turn still, Wrath will then probably stack with Time's Pulse and she should get 2 cooldown to fully charge Sirius. I can't imagine they would give her Wrath if it did not interact with Time's Pulse in this way. While the healing part of Sirius may conflict with Wrath, the idea is that Sothis is just going to be hard to kill, very annoying. She's fast, constantly healing, and has distant counter. Now, depending on who can get Time's Pulse, you can make some crazy setups. It should work amazingly well with weapons that accelerate special trigger. Byleth is a good example since Creator's Sword puts Ruptured Sky on a 1 cooldown, and Time's Pulse would then fully charge it up every turn. No surprise that they can use the skill just as well. I would definitely watch out for this ability, it could be extremely strong. Sothis doesn't look to be extremely overbearing in any way. I think her kit is very good for new players because of distant counter, plus she's infantry and has a low cooldown special. Sirius is going to make Sothis heal just about every fight she's in if she doubles, so I'm hoping her defensive stat line isn't too bad. Buffing her up with more defense and res could be pretty fun. As a dark mythic hero, I'm unsure how well she would do in Aether raids. Being red is a bit tough since you have people using Reinhardt a lot, or terrible people like me who use special Spirophilia and laugh at just about every red tank. Being fast with distant counter and no weakness to falchions is nice though, so she may be a great defense team unit. If I can get Claude, maybe I'll try to get Sothis as well. Now let's move on to the rest of the banner. Our 12 heroes are split evenly between red, blue, green, and colorless, but this time we have a special situation. Joining Sothis in the red focus pool is Male Byleth. If you did not get the free one from purchasing 3 houses, this is the first appearance for him, and I'm unsure what will happen to him afterwards. I assume he's going to get added to the 5-star permanent summoning pool with the other 3 houses characters, but that's not confirmed yet. If you want Sothis, you can at least get Male Byleth, and then you have Legendary Marth, another good unit. Blue has Fjorm, Legendary Azura, and Hot Springs Ryoma. Green has Legendary Hector, Legendary Lyn, and Valentine's Grail. Colorless has Air, Legendary Alm, and Kanagas. So for new players, you can get a free Fjorm and Air from the story, but having more copies can be useful if you know what you're doing. We'll now briefly cover all of these units and discuss the valuable fodder skills they have to inherit. For red, we already talked about Sothis, but boy is she really good fodder as well. Tag and Speed Solo and Wrath are both incredibly rare skills, and then we have this new times Pulse skill. Unless there's a mistake here, it should be inheritable by someone. Just be sure to read up on who it's restricted to when the banner releases. As for Male Byleth, he is similar to Female Byleth stat-wise, and they both have the Sword of the Creator and Ruptured Sky special. Male Byleth does have distant counter though, so while you may not need him, he's automatically good fodder. You can also pass on Chill Speed, Odd Speed Wave, or even Ruptured Sky as well. I think the Byleths are good units, mainly because of their weapon and stats, so they are worth trying out. Last we have Legendary Marth, the ultimate dragon counter. His Exalted Falchion has built-in bonus doubler, and his Fire Emblem special buffs everyone when he activates it. His Binding Shield B skill gives him a huge advantage in dragon matchups, and he's extremely good when you need to deal with a lot of them. If you want his fodder, Attack and Speed Bond and Infantry Flash are both decent skills, but probably only wanted on certain unit types. Overall, if you want to get Sothis, this isn't a bad time to try. Byleth and Marth are both excellent swordsmen. Next up for blue, we have Fjorm in Infantry Lancer. Her Lathrud has distant counter, and her Ice Mirror soaks up range damage and boosts her counterattack back. Paired with some good defensive stats, Fjorm is a pretty fun tank. She has attack and defense bond and drive attack for some decent fodder skills, but shield pulse is stupidly hard to get, so you probably want to save her for that. Next is Legendary Azura, who is a flying dancer and probably the best dancer in the whole game. She is extremely strong because her Praetorial weapon takes the highest buff on a unit she dances and spreads it to all their stats. With her attack tactic buff, she can give a unit +6 attack, but if she dances them, she then spreads that +6 to all stats. Also, her special Grey Waves dance ability allows infantry and flying units to move 1 extra space. If you're a new player, Legendary Azura is easily one of the best support units you can have. Last is Hot Springs Ryoma. He is a flying lance unit with good attack and speed. His It's Curtains plus weapon also grants -2 cooldown on turn 1, great for short battles. He has some great fodder with attack and defense solo, chill speed, and odd defense wave. Ryoma is a great lance flyer, but with so many strong ones to pick from, it's not like he's your only option. Still an excellent unit. For new players, I would only recommend summoning blue to get Legendary Azura. She is that good. Moving on to the green group, we have Legendary Hector, an Axe Armor unit. My personal favorite Hector, since with Thunder Armads, he's a ridiculous tank. I use him all the time to clear PvE content. Thunder Armads prevents enemy follow-ups, while Vengeful Fighter gives Hector a follow-up with increased special charge, combined with distant counter, and he is just a strong green tank. As for his unique C skill, Ostia's Pulse, it grants -1 cooldown on turn 1 if you aren't running a team with more than 2 of the same movement type. It's a very fun ability to mess around with. Second is Legendary Lyn. Considered one of the weaker legendary heroes, it's mainly due to her odd base kit. She is a green archer, and her Swift Mulligear grants extra attack and speed if she is surrounded by more allies than enemies. It should work with Laws of Sakai, which grants +4 to all stats when Lyn is initiated on, but she just isn't that tanky to fully utilize it more than once or twice. I think Lyn is better off with Fury instead. For fodder, Speed Tactic is your best option on her. Last we have Valentine's Grail, another Axe Armor unit. His Faithful Axe grants +3 to all stats if next to an ally, and that's not that bad actually. Combined with Fury 4, and Grail gets a lot of extra stats. He also has Aether and Armor March should you want other skills to inherit. He's your typical slow but tanky armor unit. This isn't the worst batch of green units, especially with Hector here, but like the blue group, I wouldn't recommend it as the best color to pull from. Finally, we have the colorless group, and while our red units are extremely good both in fodder and usage, these guys are right up there as well. First is Air, who you can get from free from the story. If you want to sacrifice her, she's the only unit with Mystic Boost, which is a little niche, but makes some neat builds with its constant healing. On her own, Air is a great dagger unit, and if you want to get far in Aether raids, it's not bad to have multiple copies of her. Next is Legendary Alm, who is an infantry colorless archer, and probably one of the deadliest archers to face against. Alm is extremely good as an attacker since his bow nearly deals a full moonbow special worth of extra damage per hit. His Lunar Flash special reduces enemy defense and boosts damage based on his speed. With Darting Blow 4, Legendary Alm can do a lot of damage to even the tankiest of foes. He has no follow-up to dissuade skills like Worry Fighter, and with Odd Attack Wave, that's just more damage every other turn. He even has insane base stats, and altogether is just a fantastic offensive unit. Last is Lion King Conegus, the only beast armor unit currently. When he transforms, he gains distant counter, and with distant defense 4, Conegus gets a crazy amount of extra defense and res against ranged units. With Vengeful Fighter, he gets a follow-up attack and should proc Bonfire on his second hit. Most of his kit is enemy phase focused, so he's a strong defensive tank, but he has not the greatest offensive skills, besides his high base attack. If you're using a beast team, Conegus is a really nice answer to ranged attackers. That's about it for this Mythic Summoning event. Let me know what you think about Sothis or just the banner in general. I would definitely love to get Sothis, but it's gonna depend on my luck getting Claude first. I think she'll be good, but nothing too crazy. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go play more 3 houses, but I'll be back to discuss our next Grand Hero battle unit. See you guys then.